Welcome to another week,
Ooh.
another episode of The Peel.
I still want to punch you in your face.
That's not very nice.
Your comment to me.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We know there's a lot going on this week.
Yes, we appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Not watching the Texans game and watching me and Justin instead.
Austin said he's here for. Harry said he's here for the fireworks. The only fireworks are how between me and Josh and how much we really hate each other. This is all just a facade.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, the real actual root of us bringing this show back is just so that way we can just hate. We hate each other off the air, but now we want other people to see us hate each other.
A lot to break down today. In case you weren't aware, we had the opportunity to meet with the Dynamo front office.
And now I can hear you out of my left ear.
With Dynamo Fans for Change, who are now sitting at 200 or 400 plus.
Man,
They're
yeah,
what,
it's
430 or something like that
it's
now?
like 460 or something like that. Yeah, it's a lot of people.
It's growing. It's getting big. We have that to talk about. We have the absolutely horrible U.S.-Mexico match. We have to set up for.
It wasn't horrible to Greg Berhalter though.
I don't even. We'll get into that. We got to set up for the two matches this week. Dynamo will take on Minnesota here at BBVA Wednesday, and then we travel to Vancouver, where we haven't fared too well, and I'll bring in those stats. So, yeah. We also got to slightly set up U.S. Uruguay, which is tomorrow. Let's see how we line up after that beatdown Mexico gave us. And then a little bit of other MLS/international news, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, if I do recall, you did say last week that
Alex said 487 members.
Dang.
Yes,
that's awesome.
That it was like 420 before we went to that meeting.
Dang.
Yeah,
that's pretty legit, man. I mean, like, goodness, that's just. I don't think we've ever had that many followers.
I do got to give a huge shout out to Dynamo Fans for Change for allowing us to be a part of that.
All the work that was put into that.
Tony, Nick, Alex, all of them guys. We will give out their information too. We want you guys to join it. It's the only way that Dynamo are going to realize that there is an issue, which I think they spearheaded that pretty well. I think they are very aware that there's an issue in this city.
Oh, yeah.
What else we got? I guess we'll just jump right into it. I was going to try to do like a 5-minute intro.
I mean, I don't really know what else to say to you. I mean, there's a lot I could say to you that would be longer than 5 minutes.
Let's go ahead and get into this. It was actually a pretty cool moment. You know, it's not now.
So just kind of backtrack, just backstory of like the meeting. You know,
yes.
Obviously it was Dynamo Fans for Change. Myself and Justin were included in that just because one, we do support the team, one, two, we want to see change, and then also engaging with the Dynamo Fans for Change
yes.
on their Facebook page. Tony invited us to that meeting.
Yep.
It wasn't and actually even then too, it's not like he was just personally invited. He actually did the work. The letter made a big impact.
And I don't know if you noticed, but Zach and John Walker both had a copy of the letter on the desk in front of them. And I think even Matt Jordan had a copy of the letter. I think I could probably speak for everybody that went. We expected the same BS that we had gotten from certain individuals of the front office for a while. But it wasn't. They kind of pulled it back a little bit. They gave us some pretty detailed answers, and we'll get into some of these questions here.
It was pretty concrete and, like I said, detailed. And
now I'm not gonna lie, they did try to woo us. They gave us food. They even provided beer, which I didn't expect.
But let's just say this too. A lot of people are thinking, we were kind of wined and dined, though. That wasn't the case. I mean, like, the food sat there for a minute, like, honestly.
I still ate it cold.
I mean, yeah, we ate it afterwards, of course, Why?
Well, John Walker's like, well, it's paid for. We had to
like, eat it now.
He also gave us these Dynamo stress balls for when the Dynamo are pissing us off a lot to squeeze these on the show. Mine's actually in my car. I meant to bring it in.
Or whenever I have to just hear your voice.
Oh, that's not very nice. But first off, I do have to say, John Walker, I didn't know too much about him prior to the fact that, he was with the Grizzlies organization in the NBA. He actually called us out on some stuff about our podcast. But he did mention that he did tune in last week.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. Not even him. Just I'm sure that he showed Matt Jordan, but Matt Jordan brought up some stuff as well. That I mean, we're being listened to by the front office. And the same for Dynamo Fans for Change. Obviously, that letter seemed like it really hit it home. And as it should, to just call the organization out like that.
But I do have to spearhead because I did see it a lot. They did take pictures. They did do interviews with us, and they posted it to their website. Now, there's multiple different ways you can look at this. They did it as a PR stunt to get ahead of something that was already out there. Or you can look at it as, okay, maybe the team really does realize that there's an issue, and they really do want to connect with the fans.
Well, I liked honestly, I really, really liked when we first went in and John Walker pretty much broke the ice by he said, look, this is gonna be a meeting about change and stuff, but don't hold back.
Yeah.
Don't just because there's people here and all that. We don't want you to feel intimidated. Which none of us did. But it was nice to kind of just say, okay, well, we can actually air frustrations.
Yes.
We can tell them.
Now. I lost my train of thought there for a second. There are certain things that obviously the organization can't talk about. Who they're talking about for coach, who's players they're looking to bring in. I understand that from a sports perspective. You can't get into that information. There's tampering issues. There's if this team's going after him, well then we need to go after him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those issues. But there are some things that we will still talk about, and I told John Walker straight up that we will get on the team when they're playing like garbage, but we will also praise the team when they are doing things that are needed to be done and they are winning.
As everybody should. Hold the team accountable when they're not good, and still,
he totally understood.
Yeah, of course, and that's how it should be from any fan base. I'm not gonna sit down and lie and just watch my team just suck every single year, and not say anything about it. And there's a lot of different things about this meeting too, that can go. It was proactive,
Yes.
Like I really have to give props to Tony for the work that he's put into
people
this.
saw us being used as props or it being constructive. Regardless, the meeting happened and it was something that we didn't even expect to begin with. So that it's out there. That's your opinion. You can believe in it or you cannot.
Yeah. So. But kind of going on to that topic, there was, and I was even quoted in it. It's a lot of people were just blabbling on Twitter. It's not going unnoticed, but that's not all that's being done. It's not like these guys are just complaining and going back and forth on Twitter or Facebook and social media. There's actual work being put into this.
Yeah.
It's not like we were just season ticket holders that got invited to this meeting. No, this was a meeting that we wanted, as fans. And I encourage all the fans, if you're frustrated and you want change, then do something about it.
And
do something.
Join this group. As of right now, they have the biggest voice, and we, grow their numbers. So we'll get into all their contact information. We'll definitely give it out. I'll put it in the bio for the show. I'll put it on all our podcasts. When you click on the info, it'll pop up on there too. So we'll go through some of the questions that they asked. We'll pick a few because there was probably about 10. They stuck on some of the topics.
There was about 10. It was about almost an hour into it, and we were only 3 in. So there was a lot of questions that weren't asked.
Do you want to hit the easy one up first?
Yeah.
Which is the one about the roof.
Yeah, so, just to kind of sum that one up, it's just, obviously the first the first question was, what happened about a roof? So why can't we have a roof in this? Because obviously Houston's pretty hot. So the actual question, has there been any consideration of extending or expanding the BBVA Stadium roof to provide cover for all seating areas? And if not, then why not? The answer that was given, and it will cost less to demolish and rebuild the stadium than it would be to install some sort of canopy. Also, the existing stage structures can't support any additional weight for fans. So I mean, from a cost perspective, I understand that.
It sucks.
With that being said, they're still looking for options. They really need to look for options to get some kind of breeze or flow in there, because it is a hot bowl. That's still needs to be solved in my opinion.
I'll let you hit this one
up. So the next one was about the ownership group. So how does adding James Harden to ownership group 5% share help the franchise? Well, Harden coming in has made the Dynamo very appealing to local businessmen. What does that say? Managers,
business
whatever.
people.
Yeah, business people. As well as other big names. Ownership group is not opposed to selling more of their share of the team to grow the Dynamo. It just has to be. It just has to make sure that it has to make sense for them to do so, but it's piquing a lot of interest. So, I mean, yeah, obviously with a name like James Harden is huge for the Dynamo. It gives you a face to the ownership.
Yes.
They did make a joke that John Walker made a joke about us beating Seattle to the punch on the ownership group.
Yeah.
But you got to look at the amount of owners that they lost one owner and they gained 11.
Yep.
The names of Russell Wilson. I don't know his wife's name, but her.
Sierra.
And then Macklemore, just to name a couple of them. There.
I totally forgot about Macklemore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So so I mean, continuing with the ownership, I guess, growth, if you want to call it that, is a big thing for me, because, I mean, the more owners you get in, obviously, the more money you're going to get into the team, the more people will invest into it. And yeah, it's just 5% share, but
somebody said, I'm good with the heat. I eat that shit for breakfast. So somebody also asked, can we as a group have a face-to-face town hall meeting with ownership? And John Walker said he's not opposed to it. Just have to see what ownership group says and their availability. Which he did bring up a good point. Look, as much as we want Renner to be there every match, he is also a businessman and he has businesses to run. So I get it. I understand it.
John Walker is not his boss. It's the other way around.
Correct.
So he can't force it. That kind of needs to be, honestly, in my opinion, I wasn't too satisfied with that answer.
But he did say
I think that
the front office is willing to have it. Maybe not ownership, but the front office is willing to have it.
Yeah, the front office. Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be more ideal for the ownership group to be there. Because there was a couple name drops that I put in there.
De La Hoya.
I flat out told them, as a fan, it frustrates me knowing that Oscar De La Hoya is the secondary majority owner, second to Gabriel Brenner, but he doesn't really talk about the team. He's never posting on social media. I've seen him post more about LAFC and LA Galaxy than I've seen from him for the Dynamo. So me as a fan, that frustrates me, and I made my voice heard on that, because it does. And as far as like the owners meeting with the fans, I mean, it's like I said,
maybe if you can't do it.
The social media, it's not going unnoticed. Like people tag Gabriel Brenner in these things, and he might not respond, but apparently that actually he sees that stuff.
Maybe not have it multiple times throughout the year, but maybe have it in the off season, right after the season.
Absolutely.
All the owners get together. You plan one day. You fill BBVA up enough. Couple thousand fans. But
with that being said, though, that's just us. So I mean, if that needs to happen, then that needs to be continuous work from the fan base.
Correct.
If they want that to happen, then make it known. Then keep making it known. Don't stop there.
And I'm gonna throw this out there. Yes, you have the Dynamo Fans for Change. But you also have some of these fans that they'll complain, but they don't want to do anything about it. They're just as much as at fault as the ownership group, as the front office, for not giving a shit about the team unless it's convenient for them.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, kind of going back a little bit. Yeah, it's just banter back and forth on Twitter, but you know, I mean, I do praise I praise Tony for the work that's been put into this, man, and it kind of elevates a little bit, kind of raises the bar for a fan for change in my eyes. You know, if you want something done, then you know, make yourself available and do it.
Yes. The question I asked personally was with the upcoming U17, G20s, U23 matches over the next few weeks, many of the players with MLS ties have received call-ups except for the Houston Dynamo. For example, FC Dallas has 6 players called up. What is the Dynamo's plan to develop these players to be of international quality? Which spins off of the whole discussion we had last week when I did read off how many players were called up in all these different teams. I actually thoroughly liked the answer Matt Jordan gave us because I can honestly believe it. With hearing things from around the city,
it kind of, not to cut you off,
what's up?
But it opened my eyes a little bit to
It
Matt
did.
Jordan, because you don't want to hear the excuses, and you don't want to hear the reasons. A lot of people don't want to hear the reasons why, but honestly, when he broke it down, it kind of made it a little clearer for me.
He said that Matt Jordan said that they're basically rebuilding the academy from the ground up. The budget for the academy will be doubled after Matt spoke with ownership. This includes all part-time staff being full-time, reaching more outreach based on PSV's Eindhoven model.
Eindhoven.
And what?
Eindhoven.
Okay.
Eindhoven.
While this won't change overnight, he does feel that they will reap the benefits on the younger side of things, 14 to 17, which I have heard before that he even admitted, he said there has been some baggage that is left over from prior to him getting here.
There's a lot of toxicity in that youth base there.
So apparently the Dynamo had rubbed some of these smaller academies within the city the wrong way, and I guess Matt Jordan's there trying to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, and you know, and I feel for him, like
on that one aspect.
I feel for him on this, because you know, he did come in and instantly it's general manager slapped on him, and it's like, well, you did this, and this, and this. Well, that wasn't the case. You know, like Owen Coyle was not his decision. You know, and I mean. He said some stuff in there. I mean, I don't know if I should really go into detail, but I don't want to skip over that though. I mean, like, no. Let's keep talking about that. You know, I mean, he had to break it down from the studs.
Yeah.
You know, it was what
and
he
that's
said,
his quote.
That's his quote. The studs. Yeah. So he had to pretty much rebuild this whole academy back up. And yeah, we're obviously not going to see the benefits overnight. That's not.
You're not going to have a 14-year-old kid playing in MLS.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I do like what he brought up about Paul Holliker, you know, and bringing Paul Holliker in, because he's not Houston based. You know, we got to understand, just as fans, when we had the Dynamo come over from San Jose, they already had a winning team built with no future set in mind. You know, and we reaped the benefits from that.
I'm gonna pause you real quick because I wanna hit this up. Jorge, is that truthful? Because we do have some sarcastic people that tune into our chat. It's now, granted, doubling the budget isn't going to be the end all, but it is an amazing start. Just I wish I knew their original number, but let's say it was $1 million, now it's $2 million. That puts us on par with the middle tiers of MLS, which is huge. So 2 can become 3, 3 can become 4. Let's say in the next 5 years. You know, now Josh bringing up Paul Holliker. Now that you have a guy that Matt Jordan claims eats, sleeps, and breathes player development, maybe something good will finally come out of the academy, minus 3 players, one who's not even attached yet, or was unattached now, who I actually had high hopes when we were talking about him the last time we were doing the show, which was Marcelo Palomino. I was excited about the kid. Now he's not here. But there's other reasons behind that. We were told that the Dynamo did offer him a decent contract to play here, but for better or for worse, he felt he could do better overseas. But
Yeah, and it was Matt Jordan's gonna do what's right by what he thinks is the player. Like, offering a player that much of a contract, but if the player wants to go, the player is gonna go, whether he agrees with it or not. And the reason he wouldn't agree with that is the fact of, like, he's not ready in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe in a few years he would have been ready, but just
no, but
not
I mean,
like that.
He could have been at RGV
like
this week or this year. I mean,
honestly, he probably would have been playing with the Dynamo by now. How long ago was this? This was
3 years ago. I mean,
he would.
He's still a kid. I mean, he's playing 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just that's kind of something out of his control.
Yeah.
And I understand it.
Now, somebody asked the hard-hitting question. Actually, I think this was Nick that asked it. Why are we the lowest payroll in MLS, and can we move up from there? Now, obviously, we all know it's been well documented. Matt Jordan has a limited budget. But apparently, according to John Walker and Matt, that Gabriel Brenner is not opposed to increasing whatever budget he gives Matt Jordan, which is good news, because we didn't get that prior. He said, now, obviously, we're not going to go out and just make a splash on a big name just because it's a big name. You've got to look at the upside. You've got to see where he's at in his career. Do you really want, like, a Cavani who's, how old is he now? He's in his 30s. Do you really want a guy that might be good for a year, going to take a ton of your payroll, and he's got tired legs in 2-3 years? Is it worth it? No. Which
he name dropped a few of these players that were the younger players that made a name for themselves in MLS. Now granted, still they're
32. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, it might not be just a flat out amazing European star, but then there's he name dropped a couple of them that I really like. Ignacio Piatti.
And nobody
that's
prior
probably,
to him coming to MLS.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite one. There, Diego Valeri. Now, they had to spend money on these players, but it's not like it was a massive, big name star. But those are two players that are Diego Valeri is one MVP, but Ignacio Piatti, that's an MVP caliber player right there.
Gabriel Brenner apparently does have I'm not that I'm using the word apparently in a negative light. I'm just going off what's written. He does have a list of players that he would like to see here that he has given to the front office. So if he has a list and he knows the dollar amounts for these players, that means the guy is willing to spend, but it has to be for the right player at the right time with the right contract. So it's also written on here that given the fact that they did double the budget for the academy, you should look within the next few years, probably no farther out than 2020, for the Dynamo to spend a little more on the first team.
I agree. I agree with that. Change doesn't happen overnight. That would kind of transition a little bit. Someone did bring up about when we'd be MLS contention again.
Yes.
MLS Cup contention.
He says next year.
That's the beauty about Major League Soccer, because they do have the playoff format. You ride that high heading late into the playoffs, and then who knows what could happen afterwards. It's how a lot of the Dynamo did that quite often in 2012, where they just went on a hot streak and late in the season, and then they ended up making it to the making it to the MLS Cup.
We'll hit on one or two more questions, and then we'll plug them, and then I've got two other things that I want to talk about before we get into the Dynamo for the upcoming matches. This is probably the biggest one that is the biggest question mark right now over the season. New coaching, what's the plan for that? Expect a new coach before the season is over, ideally by the end of October, which that honestly would be the best time frame. Because if you think about it, you're going to have teams that are knocked out of the playoffs at that point. You're going to have teams that have fired coaches at the end of the regular season. And then it's right around the time. Now, granted, don't think you're going to sign somebody from Europe because they're in the middle of their season. But you can look at trying to get somebody in here from League MX that might have been fired, South America that might have been fired because maybe the season hasn't went too well for them this year, But
what about a, not to do another name drop, kind of like we did Miguel Herrera last time or whatnot. No, like a player, not a player, a coach like Tab Ramos, because if you're gonna eventually focus on your youth academy now, eventually I think Tab Ramos is a great one because of that.
I think it's Swishy on here. Says, do you get more return on your investment from youth academy or big players? I think the answer is yes to both, because you get somebody who maybe don't spend a ton of money on, but somebody who is a name. That's your immediate return on investment. Mm-hmm. That money should automatically go straight to the academy, because long term, your academy and the way MLS is going is where your long term return on investment is going to come from. I mean, yes, I'm gonna rep two teams here only because it
go for it, because it's working for you this year. Go for it.
No, but I'm gonna name these two teams, but it shows. FC Dallas invests heavily in their academy, and they turn out products like crazy to the national team. Overseas, they've sold players. The Union do the same thing. They're one of the highest teams in the spending on their academy, and they turn out players now to the youth national teams. Mm-hmm. So long term, now granted, you groom this kid from age 12. He's 17 years old, making the international.
And
squad.
How long did it took a while to get there?
Yes,
it took a long time. It took a while.
Yes,
it didn't happen overnight.
I mean, hell, the Union's first big signing is Marco Fabian. They've been in the league now how long? And their first true DP is Marco Fabian. I mean, come on. So don't think that the Dynamo have to go out there. I mean, look, you got at least on a free transfer who, for better or for worse, has been okay. I would say a little more than okay, but he's here and he's a big name in Central America. Maybe not on the world stage, but he's also going to look that on the world stage. So you have some of these players that have come in to where they may not be huge names across the world, but they're not bad. So you've got to look at it. I mean, do you want to aging Cavani? Do you want to aging
Chicharito? Yeah.
Well, Chicharito's still young. He's what, 30? Is he 30 or 31?
Well, you just said Cavani's 32.
Yeah. Well, I actually thought Cavani was actually older. But okay. I'm gonna throw a wrench in whatever I just said. 31. Okay. Chicharito, though, it's more than just the on-the-field product.
I agree.
Because you will not have empty seats there.
I do agree with that. That's one thing. Like, for me, being a business manager, I take care of my customers. What do you want? You want me to get this for you? Yeah, I'll get it, because now I have a lifelong customer coming back to me.
Yes.
And so, from my eyes, in that opinion, okay, well, fans want to see a big name. They want to see someone like that, So yes, I can agree with. I can see both sides of it, but it's like you just said. It would be immediate investment return for them if they did get a big name player like that, because now you're filling up a stadium. But then,
he has to fit. He has to fit the city, and he has to fit the play.
Yeah,
because you can't think, or like Wayne Rooney. You think he would have fit here? Not on our style of play. Not on a counter-attacking team. He'd get killed.
No, you need someone who's.
You need somebody from
who would rep H-Town, man. I like Albert the least, but I don't think he's a big enough name player. Obviously,
personally, I think Chicharito is not a fit in UPL. But if you got a player from the speed of La Liga or or Portugal, I think it would work.
It kind of shows with the national team a little bit.
Yeah. But with that being said, I do, again, want to say thank you to Dynamo Fans for Change, the Dynamo front office. And like we told John Walker before, we will rip the team when they're doing bad, and we will praise them when they're doing good. Mm-hmm. So it's, they understand that there's the accountability. They understand that there's problems. But I seem to think that they are trying to get out in front of it, and they understand. And I think they're welcoming of this pressure.
And
honestly.
then also look too. A lot of fans were upset that their questions weren't asked or whatnot. Well, I mean, it's been posted on that Facebook page. Like, if you're in that group, man, there's a Dynamo Fans for Change at gmail.com. Send your questions there. Like, if you want it answered, send your questions there.
Mark says, well, maybe change the style of play to accommodate the players you have or get. I think, if anything, you need to be accommodating of the style of play in MLS as a whole. It is a counterattack, offensive-based league. I mean, tell me a great defender in MLS.
How else are you? I mean, this not me, because I can watch a 0-0 game and be entertained.
Yes.
If it's if it's a back and forth battle. But you have to have. You got to understand, we got a lot of action sports here in America. There's a lot. That's
why
action
MLS.
Sports.
MLS is fitting for.
It really is.
For our country,
and I like kind of what Matt Jordan and Wilmer Cabrera did at the time in 2017, where they brought in those players, that were just scoring goals. Yeah, they got scored on a lot too. They didn't win all the games, but they were just scoring goals that made the games fun and entertaining, because that's what it turned it into. Yeah. Almost an action sport, if you will.
Mark says coaches and managers need to be able to change formation. No, that I do totally agree.
I agree.
But you're still not going to lose your core. If you're a counterattacking team, it doesn't matter what formation you line up in. You're still going to be a counterattacking team.
Well, my thing is, like, I brought it up. I mean, hell, you're down 1-0 against Kansas City, and Mauro's on the bench. And
yep. For a deal that ultimately fell through.
That did not go through. I mean, you're losing 1-0. I mean,
to get back to Mark's point, I do agree with him, because I know Wilmer at times had grown very stagnant in his formations and wouldn't adjust, say, at a halftime. If you realize that your formation's not working, change it.
Well, that's what I was getting at in that game.
Don't be like Andy Reid, who doesn't change at halftime.
That's what I was getting at in that Kansas City game, was like, man, I mean, if you have to roll 3 in the back because you're losing 1-0, you got nothing left to lose.
Yep.
You can roll 3 in the back and just throw everybody forward to attack.
Yeah, because guess what? In the grand scheme of things, if you're down 2-0,
it don't matter at that point.
A 3-0 loss, you're still giving up the same amount of points. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. That was my point on it. I mean, so yeah, I do agree that you have to do tactical adjustments to the team, and honestly, with the scenario that was playing out there, I would have just been like, all right, that's it, just go throw everything forward.
Now, I'm not. Maybe we'll save this for later in the season. This part I'm gonna save for later in the season. But definitely, if you are not happy with the state of this team, if you do want to see changes, check out Dynamo Fans for Change on Facebook. Ask to join into their group. Check them out on Twitter. They are at DFFC_1. And then if you have questions that you want asked in these next meetings, please fire them off an email at dynamofansforchange@gmail.com. I will post all this stuff on the bio for the video.
Did we even
and
mention
on the podcast?
That there's going to be more meetings?
Yes.
Okay.
There will definitely be more meetings. They're not sure on when the next one is. It's going to be either October or November. Ballpark. But definitely give them a chance. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Another big thing, because Zach had brought this up. One of them, I believe it was actually Edson that brought up in there about the media outlet and what can we do as fans. And Zach owned his part on it about they can do a better job on their PR side on it. But if there's something that we can do, tag those media outlets on everything.
If KHOU
show them that you care.
If KHOU post one article all week about the Dynamo, share it, retweet it, comment. It's the only way that we're going to get coverage as a whole.
Do that
for the team.
I mean, you get a player that's talks about Mauro, then
even on our thing,
tag
if
them in it.
The more likes and comments we get on the videos on the podcast, we come up easier on a search. It's just the way the algorithm is based in or worked in those sites. So when I say, hey, like today, please, thank you guys, for tuning in. Please subscribe to our channel, share us, like the video, all that stuff. It helps us out in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, It really does.
Yes.
It's just like I said, because a lot of people want the media outlet, myself included. I want to be noticed more out throughout Houston.
And that's what I was telling Zach. When I was able to get out to practices once a week, the only time I saw national media was, or not national, local media, so like KHOU, KPRC, all those guys. The only time I saw them was U.S. Open Cup run-up and the playoff run-up 2 years ago. That is the only time I saw media from Houston there. That wasn't a podcast or wasn't Corey Roquin when he was working for the Chronicle. That was it. And then after he got let go, there were like 2 other people that were on the Spanish side of things. Yes. Were the only ones covering the team.
So there's things that we can do as far as ours for fans,
Mark said forever orange on everything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you say that.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody real quick. See how many followers. See how many followers the Dynamo have on Twitter.
Chick-fil-A and Popeye going at it. Popeye's going at it on Twitter. I mean, forever orange as you're eating one of the chicken sandwiches.
Jorge, we are with Dynamo Theory. You can say we are working on some of the security side of things to get logged back in, so I can post everything back to Dynamo Theory. They have 2-step verification, and it's been a pain in the rear end. Currently, the Dynamo have 424,000 followers. Retweet their stuff. But yeah, definitely like even for our stuff or other people's media that cover the team, podcast wise, show wise, Glenn Davis,
if you don't,
Edson, all them.
Even if you don't like what we have to say,
just retweet it.
Just retweet it. It's discussion about the team. Just retweet it. Tag media outlets in it, whatever.
All right.
I mean, the more people you get behind it, the more they're going to see some traction in it.
This show's going to run about 5-10 minutes late. We talked a lot about this meeting. But let's go ahead and set up the match we have coming up this week. Wednesday, September 11th, 7:30, Cube 57. Houston Dynamo will be taking on Minnesota. Currently, they are third in the West, 13 wins, 6 draws, 9 losses, sitting on 45 points. They have completely did a 180 for where they were 2-3 years ago. So they're coming off a huge win in LA, 2-0. Nobody goes to LA and wins unless you're the LA Galaxy. They are on the road, 5 wins, 1 draw, 8 losses. So not horrible. Wins are hard to come by, but if you can string a couple road wins, and especially a big one like against the LAFC, it's going to help you out, and that's probably why they're in 3rd place. Last 6, though, they are only 2-1, and that's wrong. That's more than 6. But they do have 2 wins in their last 6.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I think they're 2-1-2. When I was looking earlier.
That's still that's not.
Yeah.
That's 5.
Okay, 2-1-3. They're 2-1-3. But all time against Minnesota, 8 matches for us. 8 matches, 3 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. Regular season, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. At home here, Dynamo beat them twice and drew once. So we have taken them on twice this year. 1 U.S. Open Cup, 1 regular season.
Yeah.
Open Cup was what ultimately knocked us out of U.S. Open Cup contention.
Yeah.
So, you're feeling something.
Relive that moment. It's like, golly, just ugh. No, man. I mean, I honestly, I'm gonna give props to Minnesota United. I think they have a good solid squad. Ike Opara, I think, was a good addition for them. Obviously, I mean, Mason Toy won them the game for LAFC, against LAFC. I think they got a good squad. And then this is also, I mean, don't forget the fact of like we got Christian Ramirez. He used to play for Minnesota before he was with LAFC. So, I mean, look to see him out there on the pitch. I don't know if we're gonna have both him and Mario. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I would like to see those 2 up top.
What we had before.
I'd like to see it more.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I do want to see more of it.
But
yeah, I mean, and then also, I mean, yeah, the team is sucking right now, but I mean, do your part, get some fans there. I mean, the game.
Well, after last weekend's matches, obviously the Dynamo were idle.
Obviously,
they are currently sitting in 11th place.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm going to. We are currently 12 points behind the last place position for the playoffs. So
I mean, it's sadly
mathematically we're not eliminated.
but nah. I mean,
Jorge said the Peel's better than the Texans. I'm gonna slightly disagree right this second, only because they're beating the Saints, and I did not see that at all.
It's halftime.
I know it's halftime. Well, yeah, look at the Eagles game. What happened after halftime?
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
But this is a soccer podcast. But I haven't looked at the math, but I can't think that if we lose this match, that we won't be eliminated from the playoffs.
I think you're right. It's either
It's either this one or the next one.
I mean, if they don't string together a couple wins, they're going to be eliminated.
Well, I did see we'd essentially have to win out with help in order to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm not even thinking playoffs right now. I'm already like
playoffs.
I'm thinking next year. Actually, my heart's like just saying I'm ready for some Rockets, but I'm ready for next year though.
Honestly, though. Look, if we lose this game, I am actually thoroughly excited to see what comes of this team.
Absolutely.
In the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
After speaking to John Walker, after speaking to Matt Jordan.
Yep.
What accountability will be out there, what moves will be made, and let's see if you can hold on to what you promised us at these meetings, which I'm not gonna sit here and hate on any of those guys right this second because I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But there is the accountability. And that's what needs to be done in front offices here in MLS.
Talk the talk and walk the walk now. So I mean, I felt confident. I know a lot of people didn't. They weren't in the room, and I personally, I feel confident.
Jorge, this is going to be a conversation for another show, and I will definitely put a reminder out there that I want to talk about this. He said that there's talent in college this year. I don't put anything in college soccer and the MLS draft anymore.
No, I think Super Draft needs to be.
Mark said starting 9 should be Derek, Lundy, Fuenmayor, Struna.
Starting 9. We only get 9 players out there.
Yeah.
Did we already red card 2 players?
Roman numerals. Bizima, JDC, Vera, Memo, Elise, Barrow. Josh is looking it over.
Oh, it gets my approval. No, I agree with him.
I do have to say, have you not seen Fuenmayor in RGV? I don't think he should ever wear another MLS jersey ever. But that's just me personally. But we'll do predictions real quick. Kyoto at least, wait. Alex, really Kyoto?
You want Fuenmayor or you want Kevin Garcia?
Oh,
I mean, Kevin.
I want to play with 10 players.
Well, I mean, Kevin. Dang. I wasn't even saying like Kevin Garcia's not gonna get a red card. Is he just not gonna be playing when he's out there though?
All right. Anyway, write these down, and then I'll type them up. Prediction. What do you got? In that one.
What, against Minnesota?
Yes.
I'm so tired of being negative. 3-1 Dynamo.
Okay.
Plot twist. That's my bold prediction.
I don't think they're going to lose.
But you don't think they're going to win?
I'm going to say 2-2 draw. We're up 2-1, 80th minute. Minnesota scores the tying goal.
Where have I seen that before? I've seen that somewhere before, right?
Everywhere that the Dynamo have played this year.
Thanks for reminding me.
He Mark says F Garcia's. And Jorge said Garcia doesn't do dumb fouls. You got to see if Frenmoyer is a player for next season. Because I really do think it could end up being a tryout for him here the rest of the year. And if he plays like shit, sorry, bye.
I see a lot of. I don't want to say a lot. I can see some cleaning house.
Oh yeah. Oh, there has to be. But we also have a match coming up on Saturday. Saturday is September 14th, 9 o'clock on Cube 57. And it's in Canada. Yay.
Oh, yeah.
Blame Canada. Okay.
Ooh.
Currently, Vancouver is the only eliminated team in the West right now. 6 wins, 9 draws, 15 losses, 27 points. At home, they are 2-5-9. Their last 6, they are 2-0-4. Coming off a 3-1 defeat versus NYCFC. Yeah. All time, we 15 matches, 5 wins, 3 draws, 7 losses. On the road, 8 matches, 2 draws, 6 losses for the Dynamo in Vancouver.
0 wins.
0
Yeah.
0 wins.
We don't like that turf.
Nobody really likes that turf. We did take them on one other time here in Houston. We won 3-2. It was second or third game of the season.
And damn Cascadia teams, I tell you.
Yeah.
They're turf.
With goals by Memo Rodriguez in the 15th minute, Freddie Montero with a PK in the 35th, Albert Lees with a PK in the 42nd. Last Bangura for Vancouver in the 54th, and Memo again in the 73rd. Yeah. So, what do you look to get out of this game? It could. I don't want to call it a trap game because it could very well be a trap game.
Trap game. There are no trap games at this point right now. You throw everything in.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you throw everything in.
If the Dynamo take them lightly because they're below them in the standings, it come back and haunt your ass, and you're out of the playoff, or you're out of playoff.
I highly doubt that the Dynamo are going to take them lightly. They're not taking anybody lightly right now.
I'm gonna leave that as your opinion.
Hey, it doesn't mean they're gonna win. I mean,
but
you really think that they're in the mindset to take anybody lightly right now? I highly doubt that they have that mentality.
I don't know.
They just need to get
honestly.
They need to get a win.
This team this year is the hardest to get a gauge on what they really are. I mean, because at times they've had flashes where, oh shit, okay, well maybe this team can be for real if they can just string together a couple goals.
That was way back in March.
But then there's times where you're like, how the hell do these guys have contracts? Like
when we got brought back down to reality.
Yeah. I'm not going to take too much time talking about this because it still is. I mean, it's next weekend, and we still have a match to play before then. What do you want to see out of this before we move on? Before we do predictions,
I don't want Vancouver to be the one that eliminates us from playoffs.
That'd be the icing on the cake. It really would be.
That's just what
an eliminated team eliminating another team.
As sloppy as hell point or.
Mark brings up a good point. Since he beat the Dynamo and they're eliminated.
Do what?
Since he beat the Dynamo and they're eliminated.
Exactly. Yeah. They're not going to take them lightly.
Well, they took Cincy lightly.
I don't think they took Cincy lightly at all. I think I mean, really, truly, I don't think they're taking teams lightly. They are in no condition to take any team lightly. I just don't think that obviously they shouldn't play well.
Yeah. I guess we'll do predictions. What do you got for that one? It's in Vancouver.
I think 1-1.
1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Not that I want to be Debbie Downer, but I think that is the match that officially ends the Dynamo season.
Okay.
Only because, look, I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Dynamo get their first win in Vancouver, but I see a 3-1 loss in Vancouver. And I don't want to say that's what's going to happen. Trust me, I want to pick a win, but I'm also a numbers guy, and numbers aren't looking too well for the Dynamo in Vancouver. Not on turf.
I mean, I agree.
But let's talk about the other trash game that I don't want to spend too much time on. And I swear, if our producer has anything to do, say, troll, I'm going to throw a mic at him.
You know, it was actually pretty funny because me and him played FIFA a couple nights before that, and it was USA Mexico, and it was pretty much the same exact.
Why
game.
do I have a feeling he's either getting a Mexican kit or he's getting a Mexico scarf?
He's got one right there.
That's Tigres.
Well, Liga MX.
No. Oh, that goes in the trash can, bro.
Get that out of here.
Anyway, in case you were sleeping under a rock, it was the match that everybody looks forward to every year, U.S. Mexico. It happened.
Or in my case, you were building a computer.
You're lame.
I only missed an hour of it.
You didn't miss anything.
No, apparently not, because I just watched us get annihilated.
You know what
in the
made
last
it worse?
30 minutes. I saw everything I needed to see right there.
So Mexico wins 3-0. Painful to watch. I had high expectations for Pulisic, for McKinney, for Sargent, who they still outclassed everybody else that plays for the U.S. Chicharito scores in the 21st minute. The one player on that team I can't stand.
Dude, that header was actually pretty legit, too.
Yeah. No, and look, I'll give credit where credit is due. And Mexico did look very good, but it's also not that hard to look that good against a bad U.S. team.
A bad U.S. team? Do we have a good U.S. team? You let me know where they're at.
We have.
Well, I mean, what? Oh, you talking about, like, back in the day? Are you talking about that now? Like, the 2006 is done.
But it was the worst loss that the U.S. has faced against Mexico in 10 years. 10 years. And this is supposed to be the rebuild. This is supposed to be our good group of young players.
Can I also throw in too? We never lost to them in an international friendly.
Oh, I did not look at that stat. That's a good stat.
Point that out there.
Yeah. But if I remember correctly now, that makes it we've lost them the last 3 times we played them. Friendly, Gold Cup, friendly.
Wait, I just said that we haven't lost to them in a friendly before. What are you talking?
No, we did. We lost to them.
No, we won that friendly.
It was
when
did
Matt
we the
Mizaga
post World Cup
was like sitting down there.
Oh, we did win that one?
Yes, we won that.
Oh,
one.
maybe I'm just.
Come on now.
Oh, it was 1-0. You know why? This loss just shook me up so bad. It was so bad.
I mean, we probably should have lost that game, but still.
But I don't even really want to talk much about it. All I do have to say is that Greg Berhalter better pull his head out of his ass. Oh, wait, that's right. He's not going to get fired because his dad's going to be next top man under Cordero in U.S. soccer.
U.S. fans for change. Let's go.
Oh, Mark, please don't trace this, Cero. God. Anybody have a knife?
Mark, leave the chat now.
But you can't, in CONCACAF, and we've talked about this off air, you can't play out of the back style defense.
That's Greg Berhalter, though. That's Columbus Crew. Come on now, man. That's their style. Yeah,
but you can't do it against the speed of Mexico.
But
can you imagine what's going to happen when we play Costa Rica?
I'm not saying it's right.
No, I know.
All. Yeah, that's Greg Berhalter. Like, if y'all we're not gonna. I mean, I know it's way out there, but I mean, I'm not liking this team.
Sorry for the loud S, but I swear to God, if he starts Zardes one more fucking time, excuse my French, I swear I'm over this team. He's barely of MLS quality. He sure as hell is not international quality.
Can I also tell you this year, because I saw this quote flying around on Twitter, is that he was happy. He was more happy with this performance than he was in the Gold Cup, because
what was there to be happy about in this performance?
He was happy that they weren't. It didn't feel like they were just chunking it up the field just to get it up the field. Yeah, that's great, but you lost that game 1-0. You lost this game 3-0. So that little back line that you want to play ping pong back and forth with them, is not going to work. It's just like you said, that playing out the back is not going to work.
Sorry, your cable is coming up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that playing out of the back, just like it's not going to work. Yeah. I mean, you got high pressing teams on you, and I mean, dude, come on, man. Like, if you actually had any, did he played against the Dynamo? Like, he he had that kind of like mentality when he was with MLS, and I mean, he got annihilated for it on some occasions. You know, I mean, you don't have Federico Higuain to save your ass all the time now.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have that on USA. Christian Pulisic is still young. He can't do everything, man.
Hey, can I say, like, I was telling Edson before you guys got over here, how scary it is to see how high class Pulisic, McKennie, Sargent, all those guys are, and how horrible the rest of that team is. It's bad. Tyler Boyd shouldn't play anymore. Tyler Adams shouldn't get caught up anymore. Aaron Long shouldn't be caught up anymore.
So just throw it all
Just not
to the
those
wolves.
guys.
Yeah, throw them all to the wolves and just, you know. I mean, this is the same team that felt that Tim Ream deserved a starting position.
Well, regardless, I'm over it, and there's nothing more to talk about in this game. We do face Uruguay.
Did you just rage
Tuesday.
quit that? Did you rage quit that topic?
I did. I totally rage quit. We do take on Uruguay tomorrow, St. Louis. I believe
So you said that last week. You said that we were going to win that game. How you feeling now?
Uruguay. I'd be surprised if we squeak out a draw. Honestly. You want to do a prediction on that? Not really.
Sure. Yep. We can do prediction.
2-2.
Dang. Feeling brave.
Yeah,
I'm
I
say
know.
4-0 Uruguay.
Are you serious? Ouch.
I'm not giving
Okay.
that team any love. Hell no, man. I
Um.
don't like Greg Berhalter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think anybody actually does. Quick other notes that we're gonna hit on real quick. After I close some stuff out. Yeah, close. There is one thing I did want to bring up. Going back to Dynamo, I meant to bring this up after we talked. After we talked about
Jorge says 6-0.
After we talked about the Dynamo, I did want to bring this up. The Dynamo do have a Dynamo Dash Youth Dream program, which is really cool. Dynamo Dash Rewarding Equipment Apparel Mission. They are trying to collect gently used uniforms, balls, cleats, shin guards, goalkeeper gloves, and backpacks. If you go to, you can just Google Dynamo Dash Dream Program, and it has all the information on there for their donation opportunities. They're going to have some in Humboldt, Galveston, Kingwood, Montgomery, the Woodlands, south side of the city, and west side of the city. It was pretty cool. I looked over it. They're trying to help out the underprivileged soccer community here.
Good.
Good for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do got to talk about, and Edson's going to hate us for this one. RGV did drop a game against Tulsa Roughnecks 1-0. You were at that game. No? No? Oh, okay. But, yeah, they did lose 1-0. That's really all I was going to talk about. That I was just going to get the score out. And then also Dash notes. I had it up here. It's not up here. Dash did lose to the Chicago Red Stars. Things aren't looking too well for them. They are second to last place in the standings right now.
I mean,
they're going to turn things around. They got 2 matches this week. They play midweek and then a weekend match too. And then one other note before we sign off.
Welcome to the bottom.
Yeah. 3 Cuban national team players have essentially defected from the team. I just wanted to touch on it. After their CONCACAF Nations League play against Canada, they lost 6-0. But it's the same thing that happened in the Gold Cup a few years ago. Cuba defected, and it actually happened at the Walmart right behind, right where I live, off 610. Yeah.
Dang.
The one in Bel Air.
Wow.
Who was it? Was it Alonso? Is he the one that defected? Yeah. Just dipped out. Just walked around the team, just dipped. Which there's a lot going on with Cuba, so I don't blame him. But that is pretty much going to end our show.
See, if I had Greg Berhalter as a coach, I'd probably defect away from him too.
Jesus. Anything you want to touch on soccer wise?
No, I mean, there's really not a lot going on right now, man. It's just USA lost, Torres lost, Dynamo. I mean, that was over a week ago, but Dash lost.
Hopefully we'll have a little little brighter show next week.
Yeah. I'm just ready for some off season stuff, and I mean, keep supporting the team.
Yeah. I think I'm going to end up getting a hold of Zach, seeing if we can get somebody on the show. Don't know. Just see, put some feelers out there.
We had some offers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple offers. Kind of like what we did talk about at the beginning of the show. Just retweet, share. Everything.
Don't forget Dynamo Fans for Change. Email them your questions. DynamoFansForChange@google.com. Check them out on Facebook. Dynamo Fans for Change. Twitter DFFC_1. Definitely give our show a like. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Twitter. Hit us up on Facebook. It's all the Peel or the Peel 05. Twitter's the Peel 05. Facebook's the Peel 05. If you have any questions for us, it's thepeel2005@gmail.com. To the ones that tuned into the show, thanks for tuning in. The chat definitely helps us push everything along.
Yeah, and kind of we're still working out the kinks since we came back this season. As with the Dynamo doing change, the Peel will also do some change during the off season. So we'll
try to get some revamp stuff.
Yeah, we'll get a little, phone calls could come back too. So just kind of give us some time. We do have busy schedules as well. And wives to tend to. So,
yeah. I may not be on a show later in this month. I do have to go to California for training, so it'd probably be for a week that I won't be here. So we'll see if we can get a stand-in. Hint, hint. But thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, I guess Peel
That's
out.
it. Peel out.
Forever Orange.
Always.
Always.